this set up here.
I knew I was on mute. PPI news in about 14 minutes.
Bet.
PPI, I'm disappointed in myself, man, because I wanted to get some stuff in the Discord last night. I was like, all right, it was probably like 9:20. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna lay it down. I have my alarm set for 2:30. I'm just gonna get up at 2:30, get a good work in for a couple hours and then trade. I feel like that's not a terrible routine. I just need to train my body to get up at 2:30. That was the hard part.
Definitely, that's early, man.
Yeah. But I got about 5.5 hours at that point. I went to sleep, like I said, at 9 and change. Rather than me trying to stay up, because I stay up late and my screen's all day. So.
No, for sure.
Google Chrome has been acting crazy.
Where's my...
Yeah, my tune's going in the background. We got 3 watching right now. Unless that's us. Yeah, I think that's us.
Wait, so I don't know if I did this. So on the stream, it's just me. Is that your intention?
There's actually, if you go to your window capture on OBS, you can add the other Zoom screen. Yeah, you should be able to do window capture and then meeting.
Yeah, then you should be able to when you pull up the window capture, you should be able to go back to Zoom
Mm-hmm.
and select at the top. It says like my screen or meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll select meeting, and then it'll always show my face. Now, if I can find my damn Zoom, what the hell did I do with it? You might have to turn on your virtual camera.
Yeah, my virtual camera is going
Okay, under the Zoom, did you select under video virtual camera?
under video virtual camera. Yes.
So,
Stand by. Stand by. Stand by.
interesting.
Appreciated media source. Wait, hold on.
Meeting.
Just give me a black screen.
You could even if you want, just for this Zoom, it's all right if you just want to leave yours, just yours up. Um,
This MacBook Pro 2 cannot use multiple continuity cameras.
mm,
Sequence phone to disconnect the current continuity camera. Alright. Yeah, I think it's the virtual camera. If I have the virtual camera on, it won't, for whatever reason, it won't put me on there.
yeah, we'll
Just be a
figure.
black screen on my Zoom. But I have it both up there right now. I wish I could minimize the border like around us.
Yeah, yeah. So if you how did I do it? The Zoom. Actually, you have it pretty decent right now. Let me get rid of this on my Zoom. This little border. Get rid of that. I should have took away the border I have.
I wonder if I could like
It
crop
didn't.
it. Show tradition.
You just have to make that Zoom window as big as you can without making it full screen.
Make it as big as I can without making it full screen.
It looks good though on my own. Yeah, there you go. Looks good on my end.
Okay, so look what I did now. I made it too big.
Yeah, probably a little too big. I measured it with the like if my trading view was on full screen, I measured it with like the MACD, just our screens being as big as that MACD box, like from
Okay.
But it looks good. It looks good. Sideways now on my end.
And we want it sideways, yeah.
Either one, whatever way you like to have it on there.
Yeah, I just want to get that top border off, man.
Yeah, that's even slide if you slide yours up. All good. Price is not doing much for us just yet. Mm. You could just use your normal camera because I'm sure with Premiere Pro or even like this first time, like it's all good. We'll figure out how to get
Yeah,
get the correct scene set up.
I just can't figure out how to get this border on. I like having this, horizontal like that. But there's like a 3 inch, not 3 inches.
Yeah,
The zoom border is gnarly. But hold on.
so where's my camera? My zoom camera. There it is. All right, so you probably actually already did it sideways.
I'm just gonna put it like that until I can figure out that border. I'm just gonna put it stacked on top of each other. Get this analysis going. I'm gonna be looking at UJ, and I'm gonna be looking at NZD, USD this morning.
Using your new shoes. Using your new shoes. Shit, I made do that. News in about. Did you set up the camera? Let's see, news in about
10 seconds.
1 minute, 10 seconds actually. So we get bearish news. We get bearish news from the dollar. I'm taking sells on this CPI or PPI.
You doing UJ?
I am going to be trading UJ. U to the Jizzy. Yeah. So we did get bearish PPI news here, month to month, just about -0.1%. The PPI result came rather than the previous month. Um, so I will want to see that show itself within the market. Dollar, oh my gosh, dollar had a crazy drop. There's this 30-minute decision-making zone that the dollar has really just been consolidating in for the last, let's call it, since Thursday, August 8th. Just like literally from about 1033 to 103.05. Just been consolidating in that range and finally broke that 30-minute to see if it continues bearish. If it continues bearish, I like I took a sell on UJ on right on that news. So 5 minute looks beautiful. One thing I've noticed, as I observe and the reason I'm ch trading UJ just for full context is just that same type of experience that I got with gold. I just need to do that with UJ. Like I need to trade it. Like that's really honestly the only way for me to be able to pull great data. Of course, there's back testing that I've conducted, and just watching the chart honestly and watching price action work. Um, but after that, it's literally involving myself directly with a given pair. But as I observed, price action's really clean. I really like the price action. I want to see if the market sessions get a little more direct in terms of what I will see during each market session when we talk about like accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. Want to see if that decreases in terms of market manipulation. Uh, there'll always be it on every single pair, but it being a less volatile pair, still like movement will still put us in good profit, but just not nearly as um, volatile as gold. And I think with that, we're able to really spot out clean liquidity areas. Really look for those liquidity sweeps at high quality liquidity areas. Um, I feel like my decision making levels, just the way I mark up my charts, have been more respected on my lower time frames. So just a few things I'm noticing as I'm trading in UJ. I'll tell you what, I love that it moves directly with DXY. That is beautiful. So ju- just kind of my 2 cents on UJ so far. Um, I always trade gold, honestly. Just the type of asset it is. But I do want to have a what's the word I'm looking for? Just I don't want to say safe because with any amount of risk is safe, is a safe entry with
Mm-hmm.
any amount of risk as long as you have proper risk management.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but if you just looked at the an 8 hour, that's kind of what did it for me. I looked at an 8 hour XAU chart and I looked at a 8 hour USD JPY chart. And even though we can make money within the ups and the downs, and even on a higher time frame when it looks like it's ranging, right? When it's just going up and down, like
Mm-hmm.
there's definitely money to be made on gold within those moments. Um, but on UJ, you just don't see those type of movements on higher time frames. It's just more of a consistent trend. You know what I'm saying? Like we go into a trend and then a small range and then a trend rather than the last however long, I would say the last at least, since July 16th of gold,
Mm-hmm.
right, has just kind of been playing around in a large area.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, forever be my baby, you know, my first love.
For sure.
But just kind of my thoughts there.
Yeah, gonna be watching UJ close. Again, yeah, I think forming the relationship and just having the relationship with the pair, I think is really important. For continued sustained success, I think the relationship has to be built there. Our relationship is definitely the best with gold. I think we're seeing what the value that a pair like UJ presents to us, just in the safety, the risk management side of things, the ease it has on the risk management. I'm looking at this UJ, some UJ top down analysis right now. I want to see just how the dollar reacts moving forward here. I want to see it continue playing off this bearish PMI.
Yeah, I got a strong daily area for the dollar at about 103.4.
Mm-hmm.
It's still that imbalance above where the dollar is right now, but our daily volume showing that we might not have enough uh, strength right now to move towards that imbalance. Let me look at my weekly. Yeah, and then the other thing that I'm continuously thinking about, which I actually want to pull it up, is the war in what is it? Middle East? I think it's the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was had to do with Hamas in another country that was recently had just another event had happened. So I continuously think about the war and just the stuff that I saw about the effect that it will have on the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what I thought was interesting, thinking about JPY, we can never trade JPY as the primary currency pair. So any pair we trade, we're going to be, focused on moving inversely of what we want JPY to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's why I do like sales as well for JPY in this case. Um, with the weaker outlook on our dollar.
Definitely, Definitely. I'm in a current sell on USD JPY. Like the way this bear structures for me on the dollar. Just looking at this 1 minute on these lower time frames. Um, yeah, it's clean.
Mm, let's pull up news again really quick. Wanted to check. Yeah, what this is gonna open me up to as well is um and it kind of just fits perfectly for our personal direction and development as traders, and it's the macroeconomic side of things. And as I go to my FX book, and before I had all of the other countries off for their news, because I'm not really concerned on what's going on over there. Um, but I did just select JPY because they will have news from time to time, just like the dollar, that impacts the market. That impacts the market. So I'll be able to utilize what I know about macroeconomics and then now dive a little bit deeper into, JPY. Um, and however JPY is positively or negatively affected, I can then take that um, across charts. So like when XAU is positively affected, JPY is also normally positively affected uh, because of their similarities with their currencies. But as of recent, it hasn't been truly the case because the dollar has lost so much value, and the Japanese yen kind of depends on the um, it depends on the value of the Japanese yen being much less than the value of the dollar. Like that's what the Japanese yen is dependent on. So the fact that the dollar has decreased so much in value, that's why we got these recent interest rate cuts, or interest rate hikes from no interest rate cuts. So they put more um, money into supply. That's why we just saw that recently from the Japanese yen, Bank of Japan, which I think was like the first time since, or the crash that it had was the first time since like the 1990s or 1989, something like that.
Interesting.
So, so yeah, I'm my which I gotta give an apology out to, our Discord community because that sentiment was on my mind strong last night. Um, my current view on the dollar is bearish, and I'm gonna be utilizing, of course, the information that it provides me, but um, we only get this time of the year. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm gonna utilize all the information, yes, but then I have to be aware of the unknown factors that aren't on the chart. That I'm not gonna say unknown because they are completely something that we can find out, but just stuff that isn't given to me in candlesticks and so
Yeah.
let's take it. And then so just to kind of talk about exactly what we just talked about with gold and Japanese yen, I look at my gold chart right now and we have gold moving bullish, which it should given the bearish USD news. Uh, That thing's been moving bullish for for so long.
Forever, bro. It's crazy. Crazy bull run from gold. Crazy bull run, man.
It's moved about 100 pips since 4 o'clock this morning.
Yeah. I mean,
I gotta get that. I gotta get that sleep pattern down, bro. If I can get to bed 11 or 12 or 2, if I can get to bed at least by 10 o'clock,
uh,
10 o'clock,
yeah.
solid.
Dollar respecting this little area it's in at the moment. This low that it dropped down to.
Yeah, as long as we can keep this below the 103 and about 42 cents, 103, 30 cents roughly. I'd like us moving bearish. I want to see go the dollar eventually touch the 102.73. That's an area that I have my eyes on.
Yeah, I want to look at some of these higher time frames just on our dollar. 127. Yeah, that 1027 area is clean. I'd like for us to get down there.
Give me the push. Give me the push. All right. I want to get some notes in the macro channel. I'm gonna drop that here in a second. Just about this PPI. It's not a folder that's going anywhere. Probably a folder we're gonna see. I believe it's every month, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Um, I I know there's the quarterly one, the month to month one, and a yearly. So we'll definitely see it each month. Um, so just being able to trade around these news folders, trade within these news folders is kind of where I want to be. I don't want to um, shy away from the opportunity that news provides us. So, and one thing that as I have personally increased my macro knowledge and how it applies to trading, and even thinking about it throughout the years, um, I really am starting to understand how everything pieces together, uh, whether that's inflation and decision making levels or imbalance and things going on in the world, right? And maybe you just saw one of the presidents or whatnot sign a $1 trillion bill, and you're like, okay, how is that going to affect the market? But then the more that we know about money supply and the more that we know what that does to inflation, then we can understand what that's going to do to the chart, and specifically our dollar index, and then how that's going to, move our pairs that we trade and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So the forex puzzle, I think, is I, I don't even like to really refer to it as the forex puzzle. I feel like the financial market puzzle is piecing together nicely for my brain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it just so happens to be that forex is the most volatile market we can use it in. And then one thing I will say too as well, I think all these macroeconomical factors not matter more, but we can gauge them more on the forex chart versus um like the stock market,
Mm-hmm.
because of the type of market that we're trading in, it being currency based. Maybe I can be wrong by that, but that's just like my speculation regarding uh like the type of information that we utilize, as my voice just cracked.
Trades. The whole macro world. It really is just one big puzzle. That's
Mm,
very much so. It's definitely attainable to kind of get a grasp on it and kind of put the pieces together of the puzzle to the point where you can make out the picture at least. Of course, there'll always be little pieces missing just because of how much information is out there, how much information there is, um, and contradicting information at times.
mm,
But then there's pieces of the puzzle where you figure out which information weighs heavier than other information. So I think
mm.
there's that part of it as well. Um, we certainly have an abundance of information to trade successfully, undoubtedly. So letting the community know we are live.
Yeah, let me get a post out on Facebook real quick.
Really strong bearish volume, sellers volume on our dollar right now. We've got red dot on our USD JPY pair. So yeah, I like the structure we're working with. I want to see. I want to see that continue in its bearish ways.
Yeah, the three positions, I'm actually can't do that. The three positions I took yesterday, um, really, really like those positions. Didn't hold them as long as I would have liked them to, of course, because that's what the prophet said when the market kept moving.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like as I reflected, um, it was just what I said earlier about just the respect of those decision making levels. I need to really interpret the volume, because the volume is a good and it's always a good reader, but what I'm trying to say about it is, especially on this 1 minute, like what I'm super susceptible to on gold that I've noticed is just the volume just coming out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Just volume coming out of nowhere. Even on our 1 minute, and just what I've noticed so far on UJ is how consistent those volume levels are,
Mm-hmm.
especially on the lower time frame, especially on the lower time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we reach a peak in our volume, we're gonna start to fall off. Um, and rather than reaching that peak and potentially for some reason just all of a sudden blasting off even further high, further bullish or bearish, whichever way we're going. But uh, yeah, been noticing that volume when especially when price is struggling. When price is struggling, that volume is definitely going to let you know it's struggling as well. Uh,
Yen slip stocks rather steady and low.
get a coffee.
Marking up some decision making levels. Excuse me. Areas of inefficient price on our yen pair. Looking at my daily time frame right now. But yeah, gonna start doing just full analysis, full markups on these on USD JPY. I'm gonna start there, just implementing my top down analysis into that pair. Come on, Bears. reading through some of this
It's,
producer price index news summary. I'm gonna see what information I can gain from this commodity index. I actually want to try something out. Chat.
where's my music
Given
that I was
given the
just
mixed
playing?
data, the potential impact on the U.S. dollar is complex. The increase in final demand goods prices, especially energy, could be seen as inflationary, which might support a stronger U.S. dollar due to expectations of a more hawkish monetary policy stance by the Federal Reserve. However, the decrease in services price and the modest overall increase in the PPI could counterbalance this effect by suggesting that inflation is not accelerating broadly. Traders and analysts would need to weigh these factors alongside other economic indicators and global economic conditions to assess the likely direction of the U.S. dollar in the forex markets. I just did a copy and paste of the data of the PPI data into ChatGPT. I mean, just observing what it spit out to me.
Yeah. Read the part about the energy again. What was that?
The increase in final demand goods prices, especially energy, could be seen as inflationary, which might support a stronger U.S. dollar due to expectations of a more hawkish monetary policy stance by the Federal Reserve.
So, hawkish monetary policy focus on low inflation. Okay, so low inflation. Because there's this news folder on my FX book, which is why I'm asking. I want to see if there's any correlation. They it comes out with PPI news,
Mm-hmm.
and this PPI news was on food, or this says X food, so this might be excluding food, energy, and trade on a month to month. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, so that's probably excluding it. That means within normal PPI, or is it, no, it's the core. That is what the core is for. The core, the producer price index provides a measure of the average changes in prices paid by domestic producers for their output, emitting volatile commodities such as food. Okay, so this is not including food and energy. Okay, that means the normal PPI should. Okay, so the PPI is used in the United States to measure price changes. It's composed of six main price indexes. Final demand goods, which makes 33% of total weight. I actually have to jot this down somewhere. So if the final demand goods is 33%, oh, that's not even the total weight. So goods and services, goods and food. Uh, no. Let me correct myself. Let me see. Final demand goods 33%, which includes food, energy, demand, which includes food and energy. So food and energy make up 33% of the PPI. We got that there. Food and energy make up 33% of the PPI. Final demand trade services make up 20%. Final demand transportation and warehousing services make up 4%. Um, Final demand services, less trade, transportation, and warehousing make up 41%. Interesting. Final demand construction 2%, overall final demand 2%. Okay. And then just to bring that article back up from ChatGPT, you said
Mm.
it wanted the energy and that information to go up, correct?
Yeah,
Or
amongst other things, it mostly just says that it's complicated. I think that's the overall message that it's giving me.
yeah,
It started off when it said overall impact on USD. It says given the mixed data, the potential impact on the US dollar is complex. Um, so while there's aspects of this data that could cause cause price to move, cause US dollar to move upwards, there's reason in this PPI data for it to move bearish as well. For
mm,
there's counterbalanced data as well. Traders and analysts would need to weigh these factors alongside other economic indicators and global economic conditions to assess the likely direction of the U.S. dollar in forex markets.
interesting.
Prices for final demand, less food, energy, and trade services advanced. Final demand. Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of data in here. A lot of data in here.
Yeah, and there's this speech a little bit later from Raphael Bostic, the president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's a little bit later today. It says it'll give some insights on potential interest rate. Um, Hence, they'll want to speculate that interest rate. Uh, Bostic's views on the current state of the economy, including employment, inflation, and can provide insights to the Fed's policy stance. Speaking of the Fed's policy stance, that CME Fed Watch tool that we were looking at that one day,
Mm-hmm.
um, the likelihood for a rate cut has increased significantly since the last time I viewed this.
Interesting.
Um,
Does it say why?
it
Just.
does not say why. Um, like the tool is just the bar graph
Mm-hmm.
of like the percentage of before it was 96% that it would stay at 500 to 525, which is just 5% to 5.25%. It was 96% it was going to stay at that level. Now it's 52% that it's going to be dropping to 4.75. And then 47% of the sentiment is it's staying at the same range. So it doesn't say directly why here, but I know that we can definitely use the data that we keep getting from week to week and month to month to maybe start to try to understand why those rate cuts are more and more likely to happen. Even as I saw, I want to say was it yesterday? It might have been the day before. But just the possibility of the Fed not acting quickly enough to where like it's almost inevitable now that they're gonna have to make a rate cut at this next meeting in September. Um, which I mean that's something we've actually. I'm sorry, you go.
No, no, I was yawning. That's it.
I was gonna say that's something we've heard from Fed
Mm-hmm.
from Fed Pal a number of different times. Like we don't want to move it too quick. We don't want to do this because if we do it too quickly, then it could impact this. But if we wait too long, then it can impact this way, right? So we've kind of heard that speculation from the Fed for a little while, well, a while now. Um, and I guess I want to pull up some um, DG.
Getting a nice push from UJ right now.
Bearish.
Yeah, look at that candle on there. Good puppy go.
Flying right now.
Yeah, it's moving good. It's moving good. Yeah,
Shit.
just took full close in the position at the bottom there.
That shit came out of nowhere. Excuse my
Yeah.
language.
For,
Like, the last time I pulled up my chart, we were at 147.45.
uh-huh. Yeah, but really out of nowhere. All like
Yeah,
in the last 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
I like that. And we've gotten that type of structure from the dollar so far,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't see it as much reveal itself on that Japanese yen
Mm-hmm.
USD JPY chart, so it's nice seeing that now. I'm gonna take a full close once we get down to this 146 range. Oh my gosh, that shit is pushing. I'm gonna take full close now.
Yeah, what a push.
Okay, I'm gonna set take profit right on that wick there, 146.8. since I could not get my full close in time. 146.8. Ace, love that. Dollar looks good still. Hmm. That news liquidity gets taken out. It's beautiful.
Yeah, good move there. Good move there. Good play off the PMI of the bearish PMI data there.
All right, so another thing that one second before I say this. So two things. I wanted to see. I put into um, the AI.
Mm-hmm.
What are the geopolitical factors that currently are present in the world that are impacting the USD?
Mm-hmm.
Explain how it would affect gold, Japanese yen, and the dollar. Talk about presidential election and how new president can change things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the data is spit out to me back to me. The one that I was actually trying to get at the most was this Middle East tensions.
Mm-hmm.
Says potential conflicts such as a possible Iranian attack on Israel can increase demand for safe haven assets like gold and the USD, which USD is not really looked at as a safe haven asset. So I don't think that's accurate. Gold, however, is looked at as a safe haven asset. USD Japanese yen, the Japanese yen is looked at as a safe haven asset. And it says while also affecting oil prices and global economic stability, the one thing I've noticed too about oil prices from the data, um, the reason why I'm bringing it up is on Finviz, we have the oil reader, that crude oil inventory reader on Finviz.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also get crude oil inventories. We normally get that yellow folder that comes during the week.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Japanese yen will move inversely to crude oil inventories, right? So whenever crude oil inventories is going down, Japanese yen is going up, because the Japanese yen imports most of their oil. So when those prices are affected, um, we can see how that can affect how much how much Japan will, import that product, and how that can affect their currency. Uh, so just like we were saying before, just the more and more we get, um, just aware of these and understanding of um, different folders and different factors and how each of them affect each other, um, it starts to really clear the blurred lines. I'd like to say, because there's a number of them, man. There's a lot of freaking information. There's a lot of information. That's why I feel like, being involved in the trading community on threads and, even Instagram, content and whatnot, I see a lot of people say, it's not about your technical analysis, it's not about your charts.
Mm-hmm.
It's like somewhat true in my opinion. But like it's only true when we aren't necessarily talking about the charts because you still have to have decent technical analysis to, understand which way the market could go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then those other factors, yes, play a valuable role just to being able to understand on a wider scale
Mm-hmm.
what the economy, what every economy, the global economy is looking to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so
For compelling reasons, traders may drive dollar higher. Let's look at this article.
on TradingView,
Correct.
like
Correct. FX traders could take the US dollar higher due to positive August seasonality. That's interesting. Positive August seasonality. It's almost seems general, but I mean maybe it's. I feel like I heard the trader Nick on Instagram talk about that. Talk about the positive August seasonality before underlying bullish sentiment, a reduction in long positions, and the bullish daily chart.
Nick the Quick.
Nick the Quick. History shows that the dollar climbs more often than not against a basket of currencies in August, and this seasonal trend
Mm.
could well extend into this year. A recent Reuters poll of foreign exchange strategists found that expectations are the dollar will crawl back some of its recent losses. The speculative long position derived from net contracts of international monetary market speculators in the euro, yen, pound, Swiss franc, Canadian, and Australian dollars shrank. For the week ending August 6th, the value of net long positions held by speculators dropped to $9.53 billion from $15.77 billion a week earlier, providing space for the greenback to climb. Some the verbiage and some of the terminology they use in this space is interesting. The USD index looks set for gains to the 104.79 July 30th high as a bear trap was recently left under 102.864 Fibo at 61.8% retrace of the 100.61 to 106.51 rise. A bear trap is a sign the downside has been rejected. It's interesting. I'm gonna screenshot this. This is actually pretty valuable. I might share this with the folks.
Just gonna read at it right now.
Yeah, I like that.
Was it a news folder from the dollar?
I got it off of USD JPY.
Mm. Mm.
It's interesting. I'm gonna put that in the Discord right now. Thinking about scaling back in on a short position here as the dollar continues to push. But I want to see that volume, that seller's volume, come back on JPY though first. Bro, you know what's funny?
Mm,
Ron March. I was looking
mm-hmm,
at. I was clicking through stories earlier. I think it's his mom in the
mm-hmm,
first story on his Instagram.
mm-hmm.
I've served his mom at Yard House
For real?
a hundred times. If it's his mom,
I
if it's his mom.
gotta look right now. You're
Yeah, I sent him a
lying.
message. He hasn't hit me back, but I was like, huh, it's kind of funny.
I'm a boy. Yeah, no, this is mom's.
That's funny.
That's crazy. You know what they say about the world? It is a small one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, what is this about?
Skilled in on the sell. Not skilled in. Entered myself on a sell as I'm not in a previous position.
Let me just join the Zoom. Who do we have? Justin, my main man. Justin. Now this price structure, man. I was trying not to get too ahead of myself yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I think yesterday I did fall in love with USD JPY just watching the price structure.
That boy fell in love.
Yeah, it's like I was like, oh my gosh, it's still. Oh, it did respect that area. Wow. Boom. And then it made another move. Like just looking at my chart now, right at about 525, we got a decision making level that was created.
Mm-hmm.
And so I could have took a position there. But just thinking about where I would put my stop loss, that's ultimately what I look for when I'm determining, okay, do I really trust this pair? Or is it gonna try to wipe my orders out a lot?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm really confident. And I usually don't use that word with trading, but in this instance, I will
Mm-hmm.
in the way I mark up my levels. Like I really am confident in the way I mark up my levels. I truly believe that if that level is gonna get respected, it's gonna get respected with the way I like to mark it up. Um, and so when I'm seeing that happen on my 5 minute, just the constant respect to these areas, just giving me so much confidence in the consistency of the price movement. That's literally all it is. And the reason I really got into this as well is I've been doing a lot of YouTube video searches just on like just basic things like why people even keep gold. Like, why does gold matter? Just 3 minute videos on stuff from the Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg, just credible sources that just have really good illustrations of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what I saw was gold. I mean, and we know it's so volatile, but with it being so volatile, it just has a lot more areas of liquidity.
Mm-hmm.
It just has a lot more areas of liquidity. Um, and so, and we talked about this the other day, Q, is the development that, we're kind of moving towards is understanding that liquidity. We've really understood inefficient price action, and we pretty much think that it's a three-headed, snake we can call it. With liquidity, with decision making levels, and then inbound. So we've kind of knocked out two of those three so far, with liquidity being the final piece to the puzzle that'll really allow us to identify high quality areas that the market could travel towards. Um, and there are a number of those on gold, which is something I noticed because I would mark it up and I'm like, wow, that one got swept, but so did that one, and then so did that one. And then we're kind of, maybe thinking, man, am I getting this concept the right way or yada, yada, yada? But no, that's not the case. It's just that is a very, very volatile pair. So there are going to be a lot of liquidity areas.
Sure.
And what I'm noticing from Japanese yen is we identify the move, the move that takes price to a certain point, and normally, and this is just the brief back testing that I've done and watching the chart, normally at the move that started normally at the area where it started that move, there's a liquidity and there's a decision making zone. So I'm just kind of holding on to those two aspects. Um, the three positions I marked out three positions yesterday. I only took two, but those ones that I took yesterday, I did not hold all the way to my decision making or my liquidity level. I ended up taking my profit quickly, or not quickly. I won't say that. But then later on in the day, after market opened, ended up hitting my take profit, sweeping that liquidity that I had my eyes on already. Um, so something like that, I'm like, okay, maybe I just need to hold my trades a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, on the especially with this pair. So as I'm about to take full close because I don't need to wait. I think I put my take profit at 146.8 and I closed at 146.9. So missed out on 10 pips, let's call it. Um, I'm all good with that. Secured about 5% of my account on that trade.
Mm-hmm.
Looking to get another 5% for today.
But I took taken full close on my most recent position at the towards the bottom of that candle. I had my take profit at 146.9. 146.9. We test that level.
Two for two in the morning. That's on the 5 minute that I was watching that too. And I'll tell you what, this is really when that side by side will provide a lot of confidence and confirmation for the longevity of our entry points,
Mm-hmm.
which is something I'm gonna utilize too. I don't really like always keeping my side by side up, uh, but this is actually the first time besides USD's ZAR, which I used to trade, the USD South African Rand, um, that I'm able to see price basically move the same as the dollar,
Mm-hmm.
which I love that. I got a decision making level right at 146.79 for USD JPY. Um, so I like that we've kind of used that area as our take profit point. Not trying to trade through that area, and then even as you guys can Justin, you can see my screen right here, but um, even as this first one, like that first, I think when Q took his full close on his first candle, I did not take my full close. I was late to the party, and we saw that rejection against that area at 146.7. Okay, then we saw it come back towards that area again, and then we saw another rejection at that area, uh, bringing me back to the force field magnetic tech terminology that I've used in the past for those decision making levels. So clean.
Yeah, clean movements for sure. Clean movements for sure. Over here looking at this NZD a bit. Looked over at our market milk on baby pips. NZD's one of the stronger currencies this morning. NZD USD is one of the top gainers
Mm.
this morning. Yeah, if we break out of this area, we could have a nice fall from UJ. Obviously predicated by the dollar and its movements, but
What did you say that article had the bear trap? What price was that? Let me find that again.
which pair
Do
did
you
I
remember
find the
what
article on?
it was um they were talking about the dollar
Mm-hmm.
and it said that there was a bear trap
Mm-hmm.
or on the dollar at like 102 or something like that. Remember? What
The
article was it?
USD index looks set for gains to the 104.79 July 30th high, as a bear trap was recently left under the 102.864 Fibbo.
864. What do I have this decision making on that?
864.
I literally have a decision making level at 102.73. So 102.86, that's about right at this level. Okay, I can see why they're saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Let me see if I can find a decision making level within that 102.86 range.
I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick.
286. See that level right there. And all I'm doing right here is, especially when it's another article that's kind of giving me their perspective. You know, that's ultimately all it is they're just giving their perspective on what the market could potentially do. Anytime I see that, I like to see how they're identifying their levels and finding their levels, and then see if I can find my decision making levels within that. You know, I would say every time I can. I've never ran into a time where, you know, somebody's shown me a level or, marked up a level, whether it's a friend, whether it's another trader or an article, where they're giving me a price and I'm not able to go to that price and find the way I find my decision making levels with that three candle structure. So that's all I'm doing on my DXY chart, and I have identified it. They said basically a bear trap at 102.86, right? And all that means is, they want to catch sellers thinking that dollar is going to keep going down. And if you look at right there, basically what I've done is just found a level within that area that they're talking about that's a decision making level that has decision making level characteristics, right? Which is my three candle structure, right? And so all I need to do is horizontal line right there, right? And so now 102.89, I have a strong decision making level. And 102.86 is the area that they said there was a potential bear trap, right? Now we have to be careful about these articles because they're not 100% right, but neither am I, right? So you know what I'm saying? Like, so we have to be able to use our observations, and then ultimately make a decision, make a decision to buy, make a decision to sell. But as we talked about in the last week, increasing our happiness in trading is something we have to intentionally, I'm not gonna say worry about, but focus on. Because if we get lost in all of the um, potential negative factors that could corrupt how we view trading, if we get lost in that stuff, then we'll lose our happiness with our trading journey, and that will not help. And so in order for us to continuously be happy within our trading journey, we have to be okay with each trade and each decision we make within the confines of the chart, right? And so even if it's an entry that you look back at and you don't understand why you took it, just make sure in that moment you are happy with that entry, right? And so even if you figure out right after you enter that, damn, I should not have entered that trade. Okay, forget that. How can I maximize this moment? How can I limit my risk? Can I sometimes sometimes it may look like just closing your trade out at that very given moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we have to be able to, one thing, I've just taken away from this last week, we have to be able to say, okay, I made a decision. I'm okay with that decision. I'm going to live with that decision. And now I'm going to move on from that decision. Right. So, um, I want to emphasize the importance of that when trading and talk about how it does actually play a role in our overall emotions um, outside of trading, but then how we can leverage that within our trading, right? And how we can leverage that within our trading. And so when we're viewing other people's trading perspectives, we're viewing other people's charts, other decision making levels, other factors that people may think is going to influence the market this way or that way. When we're viewing that stuff, it's okay to absorb that information. It's okay to take those trades at your own risk, right? But okay with whatever decision is made because not every single time is it going to work out, even if it's the most accurate information. That is just the nature of the financial markets. That's the nature of trading, right? Um, and so that's the game that we're playing um, is finding comfort and peace in our decision making, completely disregarding the result. A lot of us in the past may have based our decision making off of, okay, this worked out in my favor. So I liked that decision I made. It was a great decision. It worked out. But then that same decision doesn't work out. You're like, man, why did I make that decision? I must be a poor decision maker. I must have had poor information or some negative context is attached to that only because the result, had a different meaning. But as we're getting a little bit of correction here off of that strong area, that 146.7 on JPY, also near that that bear trap that Q read in the article. Um, so considering those factors, I just want to keep certain stuff frontal. Uh, when I was doing my, I just did a quick. I hate saying that now. I'm gonna stop saying I just did a quick AI prompt because it's never quick. It's always somewhat extensive. Um, but I put, just why I would trade USD JPY, what hours I should trade them during. And it fell right into my trade plan. So the main hours that USD JPY is going to move is New York. The other part of that being London, which it works perfectly because I want to find a pair that I can trade overnight, and put an entry in, put a stop loss in, put a take profit, and see where it ended. And USD JPY is one of those pairs that the movement starts in that overnight session, and then according to the prompt, moves over into New York. Now, back testing will confirm how the frequency of that. So I'll probably do somewhere around 50 to 100 different back tests, um, just to gauge the frequency of certain things. Um, and then that'll be enough. That'll be enough data for me to really submerge myself into this USD JPY chart. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go grab my energy drink real quick,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Get right, cat. Get right.
we will keep going from there.
Get right. Yeah, I'm looking a little bit at this NZD USD. Um,
Look at the dollar right now.
mhm. Let's see what level it touched. 102.8. Where's that bear trap at? Yeah, right there. Right there.
Inefficient. I don't know if I'm cutting you off because I don't have my headphones on,
Mm.
but inefficient price action that USD JPY looks like it's feeling right now. Um, I might eye an entry somewhere around the 147 to 147.3 range, um, with a stop loss going just above those equal highs there. I'll be right back.
Yeah. And given this touching this bear trap here, um, good in from the dollar come here. Have had a lot of movement, a lot of volatility on the U.S. dollar itself this morning. Hence, us being able to be successful on a couple sales this morning. Um, Again, like the article pointed out, potential bear trap here at like 102.86. Yeah, correct. 102.86, which is just a little bit. We still got a little bit of ways to get down to that point, but some correction's gonna come here at some point. For me, I almost want to sit on my hands here. Um, let this kind of volume and momentum kind of work itself out on USD JPY, and potentially look to scale back in. Man, got good movement from all these pairs though. Shout out the dollar. Shout out the dollar. It's really uncanny just how similar these pairs are. And here I'm talking about NZD USD, AUD USD, and GBP USD. And the structure, the price structure is almost identical across those pairs. Yeah, I think that speaks mostly to just the strength of the dollar and how heavily the dollar weighs in respect to those the base currency, the quote currency on those pairs. But prices after Medicare negotiations, maybe nothing. You go back just to the terminology used in this space. Read the title of this article is it's outlandish. Drug prices after Medicare negotiations may be a nothing burger for big pharma. A nothing burger is kind of crazy. Washington analysis and makes appear to ease ahead of the U.S. government's release of the final prices of its first ever negotiation over prescription drugs, as they expect the hit to sales to be less than originally feared. Interesting. So this article I'm looking at is talking about just big pharma's impact on price. The Australian dollar was bumping up against resistance on Tuesday as an expected rally in Japanese stocks lifted risk sentiment, while the New Zealand dollar kept its nerve before a decision on interest rates. Yeah, getting good correction off of the USD JPY, respecting the level in which it dropped down to. So it's kind of moved away from the movement of the dollar just a bit here, trying to correct itself. Here I'm interested in this bear trap on USD, and how it's gonna proceed in the affect or continue to affect this USD JPY pair. Marcus brought up a good point. You know, just we were talking about gold over the weekend. Just our involvement with gold. And he mentioned, of course, gold will always kind of be our baby, our go-to. The pair we have the best and most long-standing relationship with. But what's nice about these other pairs though is you don't get that volume out of nowhere. We've come to learn about just the vastness of the gold market itself. Mainly coming from China, who's the biggest proprietor when it comes to gold sales. So thus you'll get just that volume that seemingly comes out of nowhere. And on our MACD, of course, we're looking at those red and blue bars, those volume bars, on our MACD, on our white midline. On gold, you'll get, you'll have consistency in the level of volume, and then bam, you'll just go at it through the roof. Where on these other pairs, you won't quite get that. So just the reading of the MACD, the reading of the volume is a little bit cleaner. It's a little bit easier to understand in trading some of these other forex currency pairs. Man, boy, that dollar's pushing, man. It's pushing. Thought about making a play, seeing that dollar push. I thought about making a play on USD JPY once we just touched this most recent high. Not high, but high off a correction. I could look to make that play right now. think I missed it. I should have took it. Just entered myself in a sell, playing off this 5 minute volume. I'm not looking for much here, but definitely think I can squeeze some out of the market here. Looking to take it right back down to that 146.9 level. Kicks 13th with a technical look at the Euro USD, USD JPY, and GBP USD. Let's see what this article is talking about in terms of JPY. Greg Michalowski. I'd play this video, but then YouTube would take it off. would take it off of our thing. So this is gonna be a video that I watch a little bit later. So this guy on forexlive.com, he released not necessarily an article, but a video entitled "Kickstart the FX Trading Day for August 13th," with a technical look at the Euro USD, USD JPY, and GBP USD. I'm gonna share this link just so you guys can watch that video along with me. Why is this? My YouTube isn't letting me comment.
Real quick, please.
Engage with your audience.
Please, mama.
Come on.
Real quick, I put you back.
Come on, let me comment. Screw it. I wanted to get that in the YouTube comments as well, but my little streaming service isn't letting me. Let me lay out this.
Got a spirit there? Oh, picture there.
Short position here. 109, 146.9. Quick stop there. Just till 7 o'clock. Again, no major news for the rest of the day. There's an FOMC member speaking, I believe at 10:15 a.m. Bostic. Bostic speaking. I believe that's the FOMC member of Atlanta, Bank of Atlanta. But moving on through tomorrow. Tomorrow got CPI. CPI's folders that we see very, very often. Very, very often. Have the month to month and year to year. Tomorrow to have some fun with. We'll get some sentiment on this CPI moving through the rest of today and tracking to tomorrow's trading session. Yeah, I'm gonna start looking into this CPI right now. See what this latest release tells us. Consumer Price Index summary.
Oh, my girl felt left out.
Interesting.
Glenn felt left out, bro. She said,
Interesting. Yeah. So that bear trap, I just did a little Google search on what that bear trap is, and it's exactly what you think it is. It's a bear trap is have people think that it's going to continue bearish. Traders get stuck in that bearish trend, and then bam, market turns around. So definitely want to avoid that situation. Just as we observe the DXY, gonna pay close attention to the dollar, especially if it moves down to that 102.6 level, 102.86 level, which we're essentially right there. I believe it's 102.86. Yeah, 102.864. So given where we're right at that bear trap level, want to be careful. In a sell position here on USD JPY. Again, not looking for much here, but of course looking to profit what I can. Have my mark set at 146.9. I think given this kind of accumulation zone we found ourselves in, I think we'll find ourselves back down to that level here pretty soon.
yeah, I had scaled back in as well at 653. And then I actually ended up taking my profit just now after I saw us losing volume on the 1 minute. Cloud angles changed on that 1 minute USD JPY. And then the factor that you said before about that bear trap. So to your point, I didn't want to get caught in already at the end of that trend. So if it breaks that area though, I want to see how it reacts to that bear trap that they may be looking out for. Um, I wonder what time frame that is encouraging them to look at that area on. And 102, 10, let's say 102.86. So I mean, right above that 102.86, well, right below it is my daily dollar area. Um, so I would really like that claim of that bear trap to be supported later on, of course, just because there is still a little bit more room to go to that on that bearish side of things.
Mm.
But we still have quite a bit. Why are you grabbing that, mama? Let go, please. Have any toys over here? Here, look. Anytime she's up here now, I gotta turn off my keyboard, or she is for sure gonna be typing.